Before a man can conquer the world, he must first learn how to survive the dirt. Long before the private jets, the glass skyscrapers, and the billions, there was only the smell of engine oil, old tires, and the burning Nigerian sun. Chinedu Obi grew up with grease permanently stained beneath his fingernails. While other children played football in the streets, young Chinedu was in his father's mechanic shop, learning the heartbeat of every engine that rolled through their gates. His father, a humble, hard-working man, would wipe the sweat from his brow, look at his son, and say, "Chinedu, a car is like a human being. If you listen closely enough, it will tell you where it hurts. Learn the engine, my son, and one day you will build your own." Those words became the absolute foundation of Chinedu's life. He carried his father's dream straight into the university, where he studied automotive engineering. He wasn't just passing exams, he was a visionary. While his mates partied, Chinedu pulled all-nighters, designing software that could diagnose engine failures through artificial intelligence. But a man's vision is often blind to the flaws of the heart. During his final year in the university, Chinedu fell deeply in love with Amaka. She was breathtakingly beautiful, but behind her face was a heart entirely consumed by vanity. Chinedu spent every kobo he made repairing cars on campus to pay Amaka's school fees and fuel her expensive lifestyle. But Chinedu's mother, a woman gifted with spiritual intuition, saw right through Amaka's fake smiles. "Chinedu, my son," his mother warned him one evening. "A woman whose eyes are fixed only on the sky will never appreciate the man building a foundation on the ground. Amaka does not love your heart. She is only using your hands to climb." But Chinedu, blinded by youthful love, defended her. "No, Mama, Amaka is such a nice girl." He believed that if he just worked hard enough, Amaka would eventually see his worth. He couldn't have known how brutally his heart was about to be shattered. After university, life initially seemed rosy. Chinedu and Amaka were deeply happy together. Amaka stayed by his side, fueled by the hope that Chinedu's brilliant engineering dreams would turn into a gold mine any day. She believed she was investing in a future billionaire. But as the months turned into years, the dream refused to materialize. The automotive software he was building hit technical dead ends. Investors weren't calling. The big break Chinedu promised was nowhere in sight. Amaka, being the glamorous lady who craved vanity and expensive things, began to lose her patience. The rosy days faded into a gray reality of struggle. She began to nag, her voice becoming a constant weapon of disdain, mocking the very dream she once claimed to support. Chinedu was forced to return to the only thing that could pay the rent, manual labor. He took a job as a roadside mechanic in Apple Village, Abuja, saving every kobo to fund his failing prototype while Amaka grew more bitter by the hour. Amaka despised this life. She hated the smell of the workshop. She hated the oil on his skin. One scorching afternoon, she marched into the shop, not to bring him food or spend time with him, but to demand money for her usual expensive lifestyle. She demanded a large sum for a new designer hair in a party with her friends. Chinedu, his hands shaking with fatigue, showed her his empty pockets. He simply couldn't afford the what she was demanding. That was the final straw. Amaka exploded. "Look at yourself, Chinedu," she screamed, her voice cutting through the noise of the workshop. "Look at your hands. You smell like engine oil and failure. My mates in Abuja are dating senators who are taking real care of them, buying them gifts, even taking them abroad, and I am here waiting for a hopeless mechanic to buy me ordinary hair." Chinedu stepped forward, his heart breaking. "Amaka, please. My software is almost complete. This mechanic job is just so we can survive. I promise I will make you a queen if you just wait a little longer." Before Amaka could continue her insult, a deafening roar silenced the workshop. A sharp, clean, sleek white Mercedes G-Wagon pulled up to the curb, kicking up a storm of red dust. Out stepped Femi. He was a loud, flashy Abuja big boy whose AC had suddenly stopped working. He didn't know Chinedu, and he hadn't heard the fight. He just wanted his luxury car fixed. Femi spotted Amaka standing in the dust. Instantly, the dynamic shifted. Amaka's face transformed from disgust to absolute, hungry adoration. She saw in Femi the life Chinedu couldn't give her. Femi walked right past Chinedu as if he were a ghost. "A beautiful angel like you shouldn't be in a dirty place like this," Femi said smoothly. My AC is broken, but the champagne in my fridge at home is very cold. Want a ride out of this slum? Chinedu was paralyzed. Amaka, what is going on? Amaka violently snatched her arm away. Don't touch me with your dainty hands, she screamed. She turned to Femi with a sweet smile. This is just my mechanic. He is nobody. Let's go. Femi laughed, a dark sound. A mechanic can never maintain an expensive lady. He pulled a thick bundle of Naira notes and threw them directly into the air. Pick it up, grease boy. Buy yourself some pure water and cry. The G-Wagon roared to life and sped off. Chinedu Obi fell to his knees in the red date. He didn't touch the money. He covered his face and wept. The woman he had given his soul to had sold it for a ride in a German machine. The next day, Chinedu went to Amaka's family home, thinking her parents would talk sense into her. He was wrong. Madam Grace, Amaka's mother, threw her head back and laughed right in his face. Are you mad, Chinedu? Madam Grace sneered. Can a beautiful girl like Amaka eat spanners or drink engine oil? God has finally answered my prayers and sent a billionaire to wipe away my tears. Grace, shut up your mouth, a deep voice thundered. It was Mazi Okafor. He looked at his wife with disgust. Wealth without a good name is a curse. Chinedu is a good man. He is a hard-working man whom I know will make it someday. But Madam Grace would not listen. She pushed her husband aside and pointed to the door. Get out of my house. Chinedu, my daughter is meant for kings, not poor mechanics. A week passed. Chinedu was at his lowest. He had spent his last kobo trying to send his software prototype to investors. But just as the upload reached 99%, the screen flashed. Time expired. He had no money left. He was just about to give up all hope. He was just about to give up all hope when he had a voice form behind the counter. Hey, the soft voice called. It was Ngozi, the manager of the cyber cafe where he was working on his prototype. She had been watching him for weeks. Without asking for a dime, she typed her master password. The screen lit up. File sent. Chinedu looked at her in shock. I can't pay you, he whispered. Ngozi smiled. I didn't ask for money. I see a builder in you. Chinedu, a man who works as hard does not deserve to starve. That was the beginning of a silent courtship. While Amaka was out in clubs, Ngozi was in the dusty apple mechanic village. She didn't care about the oil. She became his peace, bringing him home-cooked meals and believing in his vision, coming around to keep him company in his workshop whenever she is less busy. One night, as Chinedu was working late in the cafe with Ngozi keeping him company, he let out a sharp, loud scream of joy. Yeah, I've made it. Goo, we've made it. Big time. Ngozi, busy locking up, rushed to him, scared. Chinedu couldn't help but grab Ngozi and lift her. For the first time since their relationship started, Chinedu kissed Ngozi on her forehead. Ngu, my baby, he whispered. One of the multi-million automotive companies in the world has just replied my mail. They are interested in our software. Ngozi smiled. Kai Kai, my love, it's not ours, it's all yours. Chinedu replied, No, it is our effort. Without you, this couldn't have happened. I have an appointment with him next week Wednesday, Chinedu said. I have to get a suit to match that day, but... He trailed off. Deep inside, he knew he didn't have a suit or the money to buy one. He couldn't miss this meeting for anything. He was just staring into space, thinking of how to go about it. Ngozi, attentive as always, noticed his fear. She smiled. Baby, don't worry. All you are doing control. He's got your back. The next day, Chinedu was working hard in the workshop when Ngozi came in with a suitcase. She gave it to him and told him it was for the meeting. Excited, Chinedu grabbed her and hugged her. Without you, my love, nothing for Don happened. You know that day I ran out of data and you logged me back into the system. I had already given up hopes. I made up my mind to let go. But you knew my love kick-started me again. I love you so much, Ngozi. I love you too, Kai Kai, replied Ngozi. On Wednesday, the meeting happened. The deal was signed and closed. That day, Chinedu's journey as a billionaire started. 5 years passed. Chinedu was now engineer Chinedu Obi, CEO of Zik Auto. He remained a simple man, letting his wealth talk for him. He didn't wear flashy jewelry. He was a king in hiding. As the millions began to arrive, Chinedu remained a simple man. He didn't want the noise. He lived a very quiet and simple life, wearing plain t-shirts and jeans trousers, a billionaire in hiding. He was a king who preferred a simple life with a woman who loved him when he was a nobody. 5 years is a lifetime. For Amaka, now engaged to Femi, she was living a dangerous illusion as one of the biggest girls in town, never asking where Femi's millions came from. But Chinedu was building a real empire. He was now engineer Chinedu Obi, the billionaire CEO of Zikoto. Standing by his side was Ngozi, his chief operating officer, and his fiancée. One afternoon, Amaka's Range Rover died on the expressway. She called Femi, who told her he'd send a local mechanic. She spotted a man in a simple black t-shirt and jeans nearby, working on a camouflage car. "Hey, you, mechanic," she shouted. When he turned, she noticed it was Chinedu. She burst into laughter. "So Chinedu, after 5 years, you still be that same dirty, hungry mechanic?" She laughed, recording for her followers. Chinedu didn't defend himself. Because he looked so simple, she couldn't see the billionaire titan standing there. She threw money at his chest. "Take this, poor boy." Chinedu simply shook his head, got into his prototype vehicle, and drove away, leaving her stranded in the smoke. A week later, Amaka's world collapsed. Femi was arrested for international fraud. Everything was seized: his house, expensive cars, his bank accounts frozen. Amaka was kicked out of his house. Her friends, especially Abiel, abandoned her. She didn't have anywhere to go. So she crawled back to her parents' house somewhere in Abuja. But her father's mockery, her mother who supported her XX baggage, humiliated her at every opportunity she had, almost turned her to a house girl. "Where is the king you left a good man for?" Her father asked her. "You left a good, hard-working man that saw you through university, even when he was training himself too. Something that was difficult for me as a father to do, to chase shadows. Now your eye dawn clear. You go suffer alone. Senseless child." Amaka felt so humiliated she couldn't bear it anymore. She sold the expensive gifts Femi got her at half price. She rented a tiny one-bedroom in the suburbs. Desperate to survive, she remembered she had taken a course on events planning and registered a company. She began looking for jobs. She ran into luck one day. She was surfing the internet looking for jobs. She saw a contract notice for Zikoto. They were looking for agency that will manage their billionaire investors' gala. The contract was worth 80 million naira. It was her only way out of the slum. She applied for it and was called in for interview. On the day on the interview, Amaka put on her last good corporate suit. She walked into the breathtaking, glass-walled headquarters of Zikoto. She had no idea who the CEO was. He was famously anonymous, known only as a chairman. She was ushered into a massive boardroom. Sitting at the table was a chief operating officer, Ngozi. Ngozi listened to Amaka's desperate, high-energy pitch with a calm, unreadable expression. "Your proposal is aggressive, Miss Amaka, and very interesting," Ngozi said. "However, the final approval belongs to our chairman." Amaka smiled her most arrogant smile. "Bring him in. I have never met a chairman I couldn't charm." "He will be here shortly, ma," Ngozi replied. Moments later, the heavy mahogany doors clicked open. A massive, intimidating bodyguard in a sharp black suit stepped in first, his eyes scanning the room with military precision. He stood rigidly at the side as the chairman entered. The chairman stepped into the light. He wore a custom-tailored black suit that commanded absolute authority. Amaka turned. Her breath hitched. Her heart stopped. The charming smile melted off her face, replaced by sheer, paralyzing horror. It was Chinedu, the dusty mechanic, the man she had thrown money at on the expressway. The bodyguard standing behind him was a testament to his power. "Chinedu, it is Engineer Obi in this building, Miss Amaka," Chinedu said, his voice deep and steady. Amaka's survival instinct kicked in. She stood up, sobbing. "Chinedu, baby, my love, I didn't know. I'm really sorry for all I put you through. Please, we can fix this. I am single now. Just forgive me." Chinedu looked at her outstretched hand. He didn't shout. He simply turned and gently took Ngozi's hand. "A king does not return to a woman who only loved him when he wore a crown," Chinedu said softly. "Ngozi loved me when I had oil on my hands and dust on my clothes. She is my partner, my equal, and in 2 weeks, my wife." Amaka fell back into her chair, an agonizing sob escaping her. She had thrown away a diamond to chase a shiny piece of broken glass. Chinedu closed her file and slid it back across the table. As for your proposal, Zikorto only does business with people of integrity. Your application is rejected. Security will escort you out. 2 weeks later, Abuja witnessed a wedding that shook the city. Chinedu and Ngozi were married in a celebration of pure love and loyalty. Far from the lights, standing in the cold shadows outside the gates, was Amaka, dressed in simple, faded clothes. She watched the fireworks. She had lost the greatest man she ever knew. Remember, wealth without character is just poverty in disguise. But as Amaka walked away, a silver sports car pulled up. A striking, mysterious woman with a cold smile looked at her. Amaka, the woman whispered, I know what Chinedu did to you. Get in the car if you want to take his empire away from him. Wow, what an absolute masterpiece of karma. Will Amaka seek revenge? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Let's argue in the comments. Did Amaka deserve it? See you in part 2.